I'm Dan Dudley. I run a lot of community stuff behind Grads in Games, and I coordinate a lot of the Search for a Star challenges. I'm going to talk to you about how easy it is to get your work seen by studios through our game dev challenges. It sounds like such an obvious thing, but if you want to work in games, then it's important to show that you actually want to work in games over something like general software development or the wider tech industry. If a studio sees that you love making stuff for games, you're more likely to get hired for a game studio. An easy way of showing this is by doing projects outside of your studies. So getting involved in game jams, challenges, generally being active in game dev outside of just doing what you've been told to do. Here's where we come in. Grads in Games hosts Search for a Star and Rising Star, a series of game dev challenges each year for coders, 3D artists, animators, and VFX artists. Search for a Star is for final year and master students, and Rising Star is for undergrads who aren't yet in their final year of study. They're pretty much the same, but split into different assessment groups, and Rising Star is focused mainly on getting people into internship roles rather than permanent job roles. For each, you get to develop a game project based on an industry brief, publish it, and get it assessed by games industry professionals. If you do well, you'll also get invited to our Finals Day conference, where you will get to have a face-to-face interview with leaders in the field. Whether that's tech directors, creative directors, department leads, you need to put some work into it, but it's a really easy way of getting your work seen by people at studios who can give you a job. The projects also make great portfolio pieces. You're literally making something to studio guidelines and get studio feedback to help you improve it. So what's the catch? You've actually got to make something. If you're a coder, there's a couple of parts to the challenge. First up, you'll have a 90-minute C++ test. It is tough, but it's meant to be. It's designed by studio tech leads to be at the level they expect of graduate and junior staff. It's probably going to be harder than anything you've done at uni, but it will give you an idea of what you need to work on and the type of level that's expected at studios. It's very similar to the type of test you'll get when you're out applying for jobs. The other part of the code challenge is your main game dev project. You will be given a really basic prototype built in Unity or UE4, and you have to develop that into a fully featured, published game. This is going to be seen by people working in studios, so optimize it, add features, show what you're good at. You like working with AI? Focus on integrating a great AI system. Throw in variant mobs, adaptive responses. You want a job as a graphics programmer, program some graphics, create an optimized shader system, build an entire game around it. You're not making this game because you've been told to. You're making this game to show off your coding skills. So show them off. Focus on what you are good at. Focus on what you enjoy. These projects get seen and assessed by professional coders across the industry, a lot of whom are at studios that are hiring interns and graduate coders. Coders like you. And you're putting your work in front of them. It's a very easy way to get a job. For the art side, it is slightly different. Choose between 3D environment or character art, animation or VFX. Follow a brief set by the games industry and create a game-ready portfolio piece. Environment artists will be asked to create an environment featuring a set of key props. We'll give you a brief, a loose theme, a set of industry guidelines to work through, and a rough work plan. From there, it's up to you. Bring your own style, bring your own personality, focus on the elements that you know you're good at, and create a set of assets that really show off what you are capable of as an artist. Build a world, tell a story, get it into UE4 as a game-ready environment. This is all going to go in front of our industry assessors, professional artists from game studios, many of which are hiring interns and graduate artists. It's probably really beneficial that you're getting your work seen by them. Really easy way to get a job. It's just... Character artists, exactly the same, but you get to create a character. Get a brief, get a theme, get a workflow plan, and get to work. Create a believable character with nuance, with personality. Showcase your skills and abilities as an artist. Make it game ready, get it into UE4. Get that character in front of our assessors. professional character artists from leading studios who are probably hiring people like you, and you're showing them your best work. It's a really easy way to get a job. Animators and VFX artists, your industry brief is to create a sequence that would fit right into a game. Animators will tackle a character movement cycle. You'll be creating dynamic, believable sequences that really show your talents across motion, timing, weight, strong primaries, detailed secondaries, really bringing a character to life and showing them working in a game engine. VFX artists, you get to make everything look great. It's just what VFX artists do. You also get to create a real-time effects sequence typical of what you'd find in a game. Again, you will need to bring your best with motion, timing, weight, plus the additional challenges of light, tone, color, and more depending on what your effect is. Bring your sequences into UE4, show it in action to our assessment teams of professional animators and VFX artists, many of whom are working at studios looking to hire animators and VFX artists. You know where this is going. But there's a twist. There are hardly any skilled VFX artists at a grad and junior level. In an industry absolutely packed out with thousands of students trying to get jobs in all areas, VFX is anomalous as an area that is not inundated with applications. If you're a 3D artist that's comfortable with the technical side of things, if you love messing about with shaders or particles, if you like making everything you touch look better than it was before, or even if you just like blowing things up, consider VFX. Use Search for a Star as a test ground. Follow the workflow guide, ask us for support, see what hooks you in, see what you're capable of. If it's something that you realize you can actually be pretty good at, it is a hell of a lot easier to get a job as a good VFX artist than competing with the hordes of people trying out for most of the other roles. For all of our challenge categories, if you do great with your project, you get invited to the final challenge stage, a head-to-head interview with a panel of industry experts. It is a mock interview, but you will get a direct audience with key decision makers from leading studios. Tech directors, creative directors, studio heads, hiring managers, the type of people who might give you a job. And you're interviewing with them. Mock interview. A mock interview with people who are actively hiring junior game developers. It's really weird how a lot of our finalists end up at the same studios as their interviewers, mock interviewers. But if you picked up on any of my subtle hints throughout this, you don't need to win to get a job from Search for a Star. Every year, studios hire people from across the challenges. People with great projects who didn't reach the finals. Or people with okay projects but excellent documentation or research. Or people who didn't do particularly well but tried their best and had just the right spark of potential. If you do something that impresses even one of our assessors, they're probably not going to keep that to themselves. Search for a Star is an industry recognised challenge series put together with the games industry, assessed by the games industry and judged by the games industry. People from the games industry are involved at every step. They're gonna see your work quite a bit. Show them what you can do, maybe even get a job as a result. The Search for a Star isn't just about giving you the opportunity to hone your skills, create a portfolio to an industry brief, get your work assessed by industry professionals, get professional feedback and guidance on your work, get support on bringing your work to an industry standard, putting both you and your work in front of studios who are actively hiring people like you, and ultimately, of course, getting you a job. We also have badges. One to watch. This means you did great. You may not have made it to the final selection, but the assessors can see your potential. They think you're pretty close to a point where you're ready to start a career in games. You are literally someone that is worth watching, because we're going to watch you join a game studio, probably quite soon. Finalist. Amazingly, this means you've reached the finals. You are one of a handful of people across this year's challenges that have done so well that you've been selected by our assessors as one of the leading students. Considering how many people take part, this is an exceptional achievement. And many studios know that, especially ones we've worked with over the past 10 years. Put it on your CV and start racking up interviews. Winner. I mean, you've probably already got a few job offers by the time you've earned this, but it would feel weird not to give you a badge too. Well done, you're a winner. I've mentioned it a couple of times, but if you're serious about getting a job in games, then Search for a Star is a really easy way of getting your work in front of studios, most of which are going to be hiring grads and interns. Even if you're not sure about it, sign up and take a look at the brief. See what you can achieve in the time. Use it as practice and get decent feedback to help you improve. Now, obviously I want you to enter Search for a Star or Rising Star, but even if you don't, then do something else. Anything. Practice your skills, build a portfolio, enter other challenges, do game jams, challenge yourself, make games. Having a degree just isn't enough anymore. It 100% won't feel like it, but most of you have more free time right now than you will ever have again. No one wants to hear that at uni, but for most of you it's going to be true. You have opportunities right now that you might not have time for in future. Do more than just what you're told to at university, because that's what everyone else is doing. If you're just doing what you're told to, then what's making you stand out? When it comes to a studio looking at applications, what's making you different from the other people on your course? What makes you stand out from the thousands of people still fighting for those same roles after graduating last year? What makes you stand out against the 10,000 other students graduating this year from UK games courses? And what makes you stand out from the several thousand students graduating from leading European universities this year? I don't know. But I'm looking forward to finding out.